I wanted to get married. I remember when I was like 21, like 2021, I already wanted to get married,
Mm-hmm.
And I was always telling God, like, please don't make me wait until more than 30. It's like, I was always putting a deadline for him, like, no, when I'm 30, like, I already need to be married and all that.
You know what MED is, or?
The music director.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. But I saw you mentioned one time you tried to do it and you kind of messed it up a little bit.
When did I try to do it?
In open church. I think they
Like
put you. They put you to lead. Or just
No, that never happened. They don't trust the
That's fine. When it comes the bills, typically from Rich, then you go like, okay, yeah, double pace now, double pace. Okay, go to the chorus. Yes, build now. Yes, go, explode now. You're like,
but actually, I actually really like when the MD is very present.
Yeah.
Because oh man, it's so good. I feel like safe, because I can hear the guy. But yeah, and it's kind of fun as well. Sometimes they copy they speak into the mic the melody that they want, so they're like do. So it's like it's really it's a little bit distracting, but especially because they do it all like in Danish. So I just put the MD all the way, the output as high as I can, so I can follow.
That happened to us this Sunday. The MD was doing it in English. And I was fine. And at some point, he just got excited and he just started speaking in Danish. And then I lost it completely. And I just stopped playing because I didn't know if he wanted me to shut up or go in there or go in that. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So it can happen.
How long have you been in Denmark?
1 year and a half.
1 year now. All right.
Yes.
And how is the journey so far?
So far, good. Especially now that it's summer, so it's a little better. Better actually, right? In the weather. Yeah. But it's nice. Yeah. And I just got married a year ago.
Okay.
So
to a Danish woman,
nice.
or
yeah. That's why I came to Denmark. Actually.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, personal love.
How did you meet?
We both were doing a Bible school in California.
In California?
Yeah, Bethel School of Supernatural Marriage.
BSSM.
Sorry, ministry.
Supernatural marriage.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, there's so many couples that they met in Bible school and so on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe we should try some Bible schools, to learn the Bible also. But
you all guys single, married, or what is your current status? Or
I'm married. I just forgot.
Or it's complicated.
I'm married. I just forgot my ring. So
yeah, I'm not married.
I'm single right now.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Cool.
all right.
Was it yeah? So you guys met in a Bible school, and then she went back to Denmark, and you went to.
Yeah. So I was doing my third year, and she was doing her first year.
All right.
And she signed up for a mission trip to Ecuador, and I signed up for a mission trip to New Zealand. And her mission trip to Ecuador got canceled, and I could not raise the money for complete money to go to New Zealand because it was very expensive. So we didn't know each other at this point, and then she chose to go to Nicaragua, and then I also chose to go to Nicaragua. So then we both were kind of like redirected to that mission trip, and then we met each other in the mission trip towards the end of our year.
Yeah.
And then we fell in love in Nicaragua super fast, and we started dating when we came back. And then she came back to Denmark, and then came back to California to do second year. And I was a missionary for a church in Sacramento after my third year for 6 months. So I was able to date her during that time. And then I came back to Ecuador, and then she came back to Denmark. And then we did like 3 years of long distance.
3 years.
And we didn't see each other for 2 years and a half, like at all.
Like, but you could like.
No,
That's
we didn't
crazy.
see each other. We were only able to do FaceTime, and but
All
we
right.
didn't. We could not visit each other because also then COVID came. And
Yes.
my country, you needed a tourist visa to come here, and the embassies were closed and all of that, right? So the only way I could have come here was with a working visa. So it took me 1 year and 8 months to find a job. I applied for nearly 200 companies.
Okay.
And so it was an intense journey.
Wow.
Yeah. And finally got open the door after that time. And then here we are.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
3 years long distance. Man, that must have been so tough.
It was, yeah. Yeah. That's a story we could maybe go a little deeper if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going? Yeah. So I think to me it was super, super interesting because in those moments where you're like, you have 2 years and a half, like I remember that we didn't know that it was that long. And to be honest, maybe it was for the best, that for the better that we didn't know, because I don't know how we would have reacted, if we knew that we needed to wait 3 years, right, and 2 years and a half without seeing each other. So we came to the conclusion that it was good for us that God chose not let us know the whole picture, and actually only take it day by day, and He would give us hope all the time, and we would always say, we will see each other soon. We will see each other soon, and we keep repeating that for 3 years, basically. And I remember that at some point, of course, there was a lot of moments of doubts, and that I was telling my now wife, hey, maybe you should come to Ecuador, but she was studying at the moment. So one of the reasons why she didn't come is because I had not met her family at that point. And she really wanted me to meet her family first. And we had some like milestone that we wanted to have as a couple, like for her to meet my family, for me to meet her family, and for me to ask her dad if I can marry her, like a proper old-fashioned gentleman, basically, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times that we were doubting, and saying, okay, maybe we should settle for less, and maybe you should just come to Ecuador and we can just get married. But I remember that we were like, no, like we're fighting. We felt that we were fighting for something bigger at the time, and so we waited a lot, and it, and then when it finally happened, actually it came with a blessing. Like we really felt that the waiting was worth it, because when I came here, when I came to Denmark, I came with a job, and like a good job, and like a good financial situation for us, and that was able to provide for the wedding and for our household. So it definitely like a lot of just lessons that we learn as a couple, not having the physical expression or communication, like not being able to hold hands and take your girlfriend to the movie theater and hug her or kiss her. It just forced us to really get to know each other on a different level, like just using communication as a base for our relationship. And as a man, I have to say that I really realized that I love her when I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I was able to make sure that it was not just physical love or physical attraction or physical something just emotional, right? After 1 year, then those kind of things disappear a little bit, right? And then you face really like, okay, do I really love this woman? And it was beautiful to me, because I think I needed that as a man, to really know that I love this woman for who she is, not for how she looks. right? So that was that was a journey for me as a man, to embrace. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any what do you say suggestions, or how, like, not suggestions, like advice for young people, men and women, that are maybe going through something similar that you went through, but also maybe haven't found anyone yet, or
I mean, I found my one like pretty late. So I'm now 41 actually, and I met her when I was 36, right?
There's hope, guys.
So there's hope, guys. Come on.
Grow your brand with digital ad campaigns and social media content. We are a creative team that specializes on video communication, brand strategy, and productions. Sign up for a free business checkup meeting and speak to us for valuable advice and for the opportunity to partner with us.
But the thing is, I wanted to get married. I remember when I was like 21, like 2021, I already wanted to get married, And I was always telling God, like, please don't make me wait until more than 30. It's like, I was always putting a deadline for him, like, no, when I'm 30, like, I already need to be married and all that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, funny enough, I mean, I had to wait a lot, but also kind of looking back, like, I think it's a personal journey. I think we are different journeys, and it's different for each of us. But for me, I'm so glad that I got to meet her when I was a bit more mature, a bit less selfish, and because I think that I was just not ready before. So I don't know if I am in a position to give advice, but if I have to say something, it would be more like just to really work in ourselves, like in yourself, like in just like with God or by God's hand, just try to get the best version of yourself and works towards like acquiring this maturity as a man. Like I believe that in like culture these or nowadays we can easily be only teenagers, even if we're men. Like it's so easy to get around the responsibilities or get around like take the easy path, take shortcuts, and I believe that to me, like, God really took a lot of time to make me a man, basically, and it's still doing it. But I think that I was a teenager for so long in my decisions, in my maturity, in the way I thought about women as well. It took a long time for me to actually realize that I needed to mature and I needed to change the way I think about women, I think about relationships, and for me that was the key. But yet again, it's a different journey for people, right?
What was the difference between the way you thought about women back then and how you
I think personally I remember that I wanted to I let the relationship define my identity. Like I let a lot of my moods or my states in my emotions were defined by whether I was rejected or accepted by women, by relationships. So I remember that if I was in a some sort of getting to know somebody, I was so happy and everything was amazing. And all of a sudden, if it didn't work, and then I was so down by it, and I was hopeless, and I was like, I just let that define a lot of my identity. So I think that's one of the things that really changed for me when I met my now wife. That I think I spent quite like almost 9 months. I remember like really focusing on myself, like not dating anyone, and kind of like really focusing on and trying to solve that in my heart. Like I was asking myself questions like, why do I always need to be validated by women to actually feel good about myself? Why do I need to always go for the woman that looks the best so I can feel more like a man? Like, why do I like to compete with other men about having or dating the most beautiful woman in the room? You know what I mean? Like, there's just little things that I just started noticing that they were not really kingdom mentality. That I was bringing this from a world mentality, from a more and all of a sudden it just hit me that I've been doing this for years and I didn't even realize it was just there in very deep down in my heart, this, and I maybe was not wanting to be aware of it, so that was something really different that happened to me in the year that I met her. Was that just clicked in my heart, that I approached differently the situation with my now wife.
Would you say that was the reason why then, like, the whole marriage actually worked out, and that you?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so, but I also see that sometimes God gives you first the special person, and then He gives you grace to work it out as you go through. Yeah. So I don't want to say that you have to do that in order to get a wife. You know what I mean? Like God can work in different ways. I just say that is how I felt like God treated me. Like He needed to make me aware of this so I don't destroy my marriage, basically. Yeah. Right. So that's how I feel like He worked with me on this topic. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you do back in your home country when, because you said that you went to Bible college and then you went back. What was it that you were doing back home?
Yeah. So
was it also serving or?
So before I came to Bible church, so I'm a software engineer.
Okay.
And then very soon in my career, I started working on project management, so IT project management, because I like to work more with people than computers.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and that's also because as a inheritage from working at church, right? You are so used to work with people, and my father is also a pastor in a church in Ecuador, so I had that also background of always serving, always being involved in leadership or just serving people, right? So very early in my career, I started working as a project manager, and then I took a break of that, going to Bethel, California, in Redding, California, and doing the Bible school. And then I did first 2 years, and then I came back to Ecuador, worked for 2 years as a project manager, IT project manager, and then came back to Bethel for the third year. When I met my wife, I was a missionary in Sacramento. And when I was there, I was serving the youth and also the worship team. And we did a school of music for little kids and stuff like that. And then when I came back to Ecuador, then I wanted to try something different. And I became a leadership trainer.
Okay.
Kind of like leveraging from my IT project management and church experience. Then I started like a business about that as a consultant. Yeah. And so I did that for a year, but it was a good experience, but it did not go really well financially. So I realized that, okay, this is not the way I'm going to be able to sustain my future family.
Yeah. What was the reason? Why couldn't it?
I don't know. I think first I was used to be under a company, and I didn't have the whole entrepreneurial, I guess, skills, or like I was not able to generate or have this commercial mindset to really get super good deals with clients and kind of like ensure that I will have all the money flow for, and I also at that point had some debts that I did not that were present. So even if I was making some money, then I was I was just not in a good financial position. So I think it was a mistake to actually start something with that amount of debt that I had. Right, I should have get rid of the debt first with a normal job. Right. So but yeah, some those decisions that you learn from. Right. But to me was kind of like a learning of knowing when to quit, because after a year I was like, okay, should I keep going on this, and should I acquire more debt to actually try the business to flourish, or should I change? And then luckily I decided to go back to IT project management, So I got a job with a company in the US, but working remotely from Ecuador. And that actually gave me the experience that I needed, the international experience that I needed to then show to a Danish company. Then I was able to be hired. So yeah, I take that experience as a learning, just as a learning experience of what, how, I always think, how would I do it differently now? Or if I will ever do it again, then what do I need to do differently, right?
If you travel back in time, if you have the ability to travel back in time, would you change it or would you keep it there?
That's hard to say. I think if I would look back, I would not do it, to be honest. I would just go straight to the project management. But on the other side, I think I've learned really good things. So I don't know.
Yeah. This is always the question, right? If you knew, like, you can look back and be grateful for what you went through and observe what you have learned.
Yeah.
But would you make the same path, if it had to happen again, right? And because I've been thinking a lot about these things, there's some things that are like I know now, and they're very precious. Just having the experience and the knowledge of like going through some of the things that I went through, and I there was some time I kept asking myself, if it was shown to me, if I'm at that point in time, and it was shown to me, okay, this is gonna happen, and then you're gonna become this person that is there's so much stronger, in all ways, every single way, than you are right now. Would you want to go through this? And it's so interesting because, like, in my heart, I know that, like, I saw that and I saw what I had to go through. I would say, no, I don't want to go through this, but I think this is the point, that, like, there's some verses that talk about, like, how we are not our own, we belong to Him, and that's so humbling, because even though I would in my heart I felt like I would choose not to go through these things, if God allowed me to go through this, or even guided me to go through these things, then it meant that what I have now, it was worth the hard times, and it's very humbling, because it just really, it makes you understand that trusting God is important, but at the same time, it means, like, that they need to trust His will for your life more than you can trust your own will for your life, right? And that's very challenging.
But if you believe that He's He's your creator, He created you, He actually gave you those dreams, the passions, the giftings that you have in your life, right? Why wouldn't you trust Him? If you know that He actually made you this way, He knows what's the best for you, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But the point is, like, every single thing you mentioned about what God gave you are good things, or that He made you for, all these things that you mentioned. But the problem is when God is giving you something that is not pleasant for you to carry, and it's
Okay.
I think it's also part of, like, that the whole thing about picking up your cross and following Jesus, that it's not going to be easy always. Sometimes it will be, and other times will not be easy, but all time God is good, and I think this is a struggle that Jesus also had, the fact that he's like, take this cup away from me, kind of thing. And I think everyone who commits their lives to follow God, they're gonna experience at some point a moment where they're like, please take this cup away, kind of thing, Yeah.
I have a question I want to put out there. I'm just gonna try to put it like there. So, could it be a possibility that, like, of course, we I do think that we all believe that when God is leading us through some difficulties, it's because he wants to mold us or like shape us to the so we can, you know, grow, and so he's trying to make us better people, right?
Right.
So could it be possibility that the faster you are to admit and to like surrender yourself under him in the difficulties, the easier the time is going to be?
Right, 100%.
And then if you are actually having this like time that you are like, oh God, take this cup away from me, it's actually that you freaking need to eat it because you don't listen and you don't want to say.
Could be, yeah.
I was listening. I was in the gym, so I wanted to like listen to the Bible, and then I started to do this, like just put the Bible that goes for a run, and then the audio it speaks. I was listening to Job, actually, I think 2 days ago or yesterday, and it was specifically when his friends came in around him, dead silence with him for I don't know if it was 3 or 8 days a night, and afterwards they started to talk, and then they started like do this crazy debate. Oh, you were wrong. If you was a righteous man, you're not going to go through this. God didn't put, that God, kind of this idea that God only blessed those that are, righteousness. They don't let them suffer. They don't let them go through difficult times. And it's so amazing, the whole story of Job. But one thing that catch my attention was not only when they was talking with his friends, but also with his woman, when she was told, curse your God and die, or something like that, and say, are you speaking as a foolish woman? Should we not also praise God in the difficulty times that he led us through? Not only in the good things, but also when we go through the bad things. It was crazy because when Job received the news that all his sons have died, all his treasure, all his animals, everything, fell and go crazy from one day to another, The thing that he did is like shave his head, put a plastic bag or something like that, and then
plastic.
They didn't have plastic.
I know, but was a specific bag, Today they try to do the same with those. I don't know the name. And then he worshipped. They said that he worshipped God.
Really?
So, and for a long time he was not cursing God, because the devil in the conversation say, oh, if you do this, certainly he will curse you in your face, when the devil was talking with God. But in no moment he cursed God, at least into the time that I'm listening now. He was only cursing himself. He like, bad's the day that I was born, because this. But he was always like giving praise to God, and then he goes super depressed and stuff like that. But it's just rap. I'm gonna go through everything, but it's like it's specific on this moment, Also Jesus that he mentioned, when he was there, like sweating blood and talking to God, like strong in this hope. Now is the time, if it's your will, like take this cup away from me, but but don't let my will be done, but yours. And then he went to the crazy, those tough, crucifixion and everything. So it's sometimes when we face turbulence, that he also says, when Jesus was praying for his disciples, he also say, don't take them away from the world, but it's like, it's not taking the trouble away, because we will face trouble, we will difficulties. We're not promised to have, everything's going to be good. You're a Christian now, man, your path is open. There's no trouble, no stones, no rocks. Nobody going to curse you, throw rocks on you or something. But it's like, through all this pain, my peace will be with you. You can come to me, and we can like you're not carrying the whole thing alone. Take my yoke that is light, or put up on you. We're in trouble. Come to me, and then it's like it's back and forth, like some like teamwork,
sparring partner.
Like yeah.
Do.
Yeah, we can talk about fitness as well. That's no problem. Yeah. So
you are a gym bro, right?
I'm a gym bro. No, I actually go work out alone, so I cannot hit my peak, because then
But if God is with you, you're not alone. Holy Spirit is.
Yeah, you're giving me the discernment that I should not put more on the side. Just smash my chest.
Put those 20s there.
Yeah, it's like goodbye. Right. Yeah.
Right. What do you do now?
Now
you came into Denmark, right? So what kind of job did you get?
Yeah, so I came as a project manager as well on a company called Speedy. And that's
what do they do?
Yeah, so it's a electric vehicle charging platform solutions provider.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. So it's becoming a technology company basically that provides the software for other companies to establish their network of electric vehicle chargers and charging networks and solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you go to the Apple Store or Play Store and then you type Speedy, then you'll see that there's an app where you can download and you can find the electric vehicle chargers around Copenhagen and also Denmark, Europe, and you can go and basically use it to charge your car and pay, etc. But also that's more like the B2C side of it, and then on the other side, B2B is we provide the software for big companies to
integrate in the system.
Integrate and also be able to operate the whole EV chargers network. So, for example, set tariffs and understand what is the status of the chargers in different locations and so on. So that's what we're doing now. So at the moment, I'm leading the engineering department there, and I'm more focused on the processes and culture and people as well. So
is it hard?
Yes, challenging because it started as a startup, and now we are a little bit of a scale up. Now we're a little more than 100 people, but we've been growing a lot in the last year. So the company only has 3 years. I've been there for 1 year and a half. And the development department where I came, we were like 5 people, and now we are around 35. So it's been quick growth, and that brings a lot of challenges. As in, you always feel understaffed, but there is also a lot of room for you to try things, experiment things, and so it's fun. Yeah.
Okay, because you mentioned culture, and it's like, I know that culture is easy to build from scratch, but it's very hard to change culture.
To change what?
To change culture. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what I've learned is that you create and you maintain a culture through process. So the processes are the ones that help sustain and enhance or maintain a culture that you would like to have. Because sometimes we stay the culture like as a kind of like a unicorn or like a really nice thing to have, and it's just nice words. It's just, we believe that this is how we want to work.
Right.
But if you don't really set it in the process, so it needs to look like, it needs to be tangible in your processes. And that's what we do, and what we make sure that we keep doing is, as we grow, we always come back to our processes and the feedback we get from people, and we make sure that we keep the processes being reflecting the culture we want to have, basically, right? Yeah.
How much are you involved in scaling up of the company?
Well, I'm involved in my department, basically, right? In the development, product and engineering, more on the side of engineering, right? So my company has a organization that is called Digital Development, where the CTO is the head or the lead of the manager of the whole organization. That were like 35 people, and then we have like a bit of 2 legs, like the product side and the engineering side. But then we have product development teams, which we mix people from product and engineering, basically, right? But I am basically in charge of the engineering side of it, and then I'm helping the company to scale that part of the company, basically. Yeah.
And how is it going? Is it?
Yes, it's going good. I think, as I said, we've been growing a lot this year, and now we are gonna grow not as aggressive.
Okay.
So we're now gonna grow. Not as aggressive as we have. We need to go through a phase of more like consolidating what we have and making sure that as we grow, we keep the teams with the same focus, the same culture as we have had. And then maybe wait for the next wave of scaling. That may happen end of year or next year, but we don't know yet. It's a young company, so
pretty fast.
Yeah. Yes.
Since we are talking about culture, how was for you this moving to Denmark? Like, it's a huge shock, or it's like that is?
That's a good question. Of course, more like in America, like South America and North America, like the US and also South America. It's very different. It's more, I find that here in Denmark, life and work balance is more valued, and it's actually more practiced than there. For example, when I was in Ecuador, you only have 2 weeks of vacation per year.
Okay. Wow.
Whereas in Denmark, you have 5. So that's a very tangible difference, right? In South America, you have a culture, a little bit of performance and strive. You strive for things, and it's very normal that you overwork. It's very, very normal that you do extra hours. Like if you have leadership positions, even more. So I was super used to work a lot of hours, and it was just normal. And I also expected that from my employees or the team that I was leading. So looking back, I don't feel very proud of that, of course, but that was a little bit of the culture that was expected from me, and I didn't know any better.
Yeah. How did your wife feel about that?
What?
How did your wife feel about that?
About that season or about today?
Yeah, about like that season when you were like spending so many hours.
I think, she understands that was just the context that I was in, right? The environment. But I think she would be concerned if I came here and then I would still have that. But I'm not gonna lie. I like to work, so I struggle with that. So I struggle with I don't relax easily. So I like to work, and I like to spend my time by working more and doing more. So I'm very lucky that I have my wife that can always knock the door and say, "Hey, you need to stop, and let's join me on a walk, or I miss you. Let's eat dinner together and let's watch a movie." So I kind of like, she helps me to get that balance, and she reminds me about that it's important that I have that balance.
And what is it about the work that makes, generally, I would say, men likes to work? It's not in a sense that we like it, just trying to put some questions in here. Is our value in what we do, is that why we are working so much? Like, what is really the gasoline that is making us to want to do something great?
It's a good question.
I think that we have some tanks in our hearts that we need to have them fulfilled. Like, for example, we need competence. Like we need to feel that we can that we were striving, that we can be good at something, no matter what. And we need some. There's a tank for us that is about freedom. And when we don't have that, then we look for ways to have that. So like competence, freedom. Another one might be love, for example. And to me, like as a man, I would say if we fill those tanks in a healthy way, that's kind of like how we are wired. We enjoy a good football game where we get to compete, and through that we can learn to maybe sometimes lose and actually congratulate the opponent and be a gentleman, and be okay with that. But you still enjoy the to compete. And yeah, so I don't know. To me, it's a kind of like, or at least I try to have those tanks fulfilled in a healthy way. And I can feel when I don't have one of those tanks, like I can feel myself like my heart is pushing me to get those like fulfilled,
Yeah.
So yeah, we can. But more answering your question, I think that we could easily go wrong and have find ourselves like being defined by by work or something. But I would not, because of that, I would not just withdraw from that. You know what I mean? Like I would not just kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna work then because I could be defined by that. I think it's all in a good measure or in good balance. Then it's okay. Like yeah.
I wonder.
That's my take.
Yeah, I wonder like if something happens, and your abilities are taken away from you. Let's say a car accident or something, and you cannot do what you used to do. Will you feel like a man, or?
That's a tough question.
Because I have seen, I don't know personally anybody really, but like I have heard and I have seen like in the TV or somewhere else, people that experience something really tough, right? And they never really came back. They, gave up on themselves.
So interesting, because I feel like this topic about value, I think is a little bit different between men and women in general.
Why?
Because I feel like,
or more. What do you mean? That's what I.
Because I think, at least I feel like, and I've heard people talking about it, the fact that like, I don't know how accurate this sentence is, but they say like the women, they should like, women strive to keep their value, and men should strive to like build up their value, And I don't know how true this sentence is, but if you think a little bit about it, this is of course super general, I don't think it's like cut clean completely, but I think like like masculinity in general, it has a lot to do with striving for more in a way, and try to like build themselves to be greater, more competent, all that, and that there's a lot of build up, and it's not saying that women's not like that, but there's if you think about femininity, there's this image that she or her, she needs to be like she's the passive one in a relationship. Of course, not all the time, but she's the one to be pursued, and the man is the one to, that's supposed to pursue and to like, fight through and like, get her in a way. And it's and to be that man, there will be like the out of anyone she could choose, for you to be that guy, you need to kind of like win the competition in a way, so I think there's a different thing, especially as men, it's like there's this almost hunger in your heart, like to do something, to build up your, not necessarily to build up your value, because it, we know God, and that where our true value comes from, but like just humanly speaking, in a way, there's this maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I see, that like as men, we wanna do something great, you know. Not, of course, not necessarily the woman doesn't want that, but it's the I think the times that I felt the best had to do also with how I was performing life. You know, I couldn't just sit down and be like, oh, I feel so good right now. You know, like, of course, only when I'm like in those deep moments with God is how I feel like that, bro. Otherwise, I feel like a lot like this hunger to do something great, you know. And I don't know if women generally think like this, you know. And I think that's why we complete each other so well, because our priorities are a little. It can be that the priorities are the same, but the way to fulfill those priorities is a bit different.
I don't know. I love this from Jesus, that when he was to get when he went to get baptized, that's where you see in the Bible that the voice of God, of the Father, was like, "Hey, you are my son, and which I have. I'm delighted in you," right? And to me, is that picture is super important, because at that point, Jesus was not a performer. That he was not performing anything, like nothing that we can see in the Bible, at least. Nothing that is written that, you know, he hasn't performed any miracle. He hasn't do anything on ministry wise at the point. It was very beginning of his ministry. And to me, that means that agreeing with you, as in that our full identity is not from what we do, but is such a powerful igniter or trigger, in the sense of, like, when we actually get our full identity from God, that the example that we see in the Bible is that Jesus did not just hear that and do nothing. Actually, he then went on a ministry, on a mission trip of 3 years that lasted until today. So to me, it's a bit of mix of both things. It's like I, as a man, I need to make sure that my full identity is not of what I do, but who I am in God. But that should be like an igniter, or like a trigger for me, like a, you know, that kind of like pushes me to conquer or do what I'm called to do. And when you see in the Bible, like this is you know, faith, kind of like faith and works, you know. It's like every man in the Bible that was there, he did something. Like, you know, like it was called to do something. He was called to bring something to the world, called to do something, right? But I think that's the right order. Like, so identity not from what we do, but from who we are in God. And then that pushes us to conquer great things.
Right. Because that's exactly the point that I wanted to get to. Because in my life, I'm observing, if I start to depend on my strength, I tend to do worse. And then when I return, like, oh, but this is not my value. Like, it's God, it's in his hands. Then suddenly everything comes back and everything is successful.
Yes.
That's right. You mentioned the calling. You know, there everyone God has a calling towards everyone. Do you know yours?
I don't know, to be honest. I think to me, I've been always. This is a question that I've always been, you know, asking myself, because at some point I thought that I wanted to be just doing ministry, but I've been more discovering that ministry is broader than I think. I used to think about ministry as, okay, being a pastor, being only in church, you know, and I don't know, life has brought me to different like paths, as in I've been for seasons been more into doing church stuff, and other seasons more work stuff. And I've been feeling like I'm always doing both, 50-50, or sometimes 60-40 or 70-30, and switching around. And so I think I'm discovering that I am a person that I'm a bit emotional, and I'm a bit analytical, sometimes too much. and I like strategy. I'm a dreamer. I like processes. So I just try to use my gifts in the best way I can in different contexts. But I cannot tell you I'm called to be a doctor, I'm called to be a pastor, I'm called to be an IT software engineer, So I think I'm just called to represent God in the ways that I live.
I'm gonna ask you guys as well, but I wanted to to share a story, because I remember like when I started to like this faith journey, I remember, like this is way back where I didn't understand a lot of things. So, and I had this image in my mind, like, because I was hungry for more of God, but then I was like, I cannot do that, because if I go more further into like whatever God is, then I have to be a pastor. And I don't want to be a pastor back then, So I was like, it's so funny, because now it sounds so silly, but it was like back then it was like a serious, like, it's like, man, I'm so hungry for more of this, but I don't want to be a pastor, so I'm not gonna go more. Yeah, and now it's like so different. Like I don't mind if I do like anything, but yeah. Do you guys feel like you have a calling or?
Yeah, I think I do have a calling. I couldn't like narrow for one thing now, but I know the qualities that God put in in my personality. The way I don't know, I see things. But just to pick a little bit of I'll say. How do you say? I don't know. About what you were just mentioning about if you go full, you just you need to be this, I need to be that. Was I think right in the beginning was like, okay, if I go 100% now for Jesus, I will need to let it go this. But it just happened, But then you take something even better, or go through a journey that you actually don't know, don't know the outcome, because sometimes I planned this. I think it's in Proverbs, something like the heart of man, plan his path, but it's God that guides, or it's a light of the feet. So it's like, I really want to go, I don't know, let's say, help some people in the war zone. And I make all this plan to do that. But then God's guiding me to a completely different way, where I also gonna do kind of the same, but maybe it's not the vision that I have, but is something even maybe greater, or So it's I can say in my experience or in my life that I really enjoy play football. I don't know if I mentioned this before, and for a long time I thought that what I need to go is like to the stadium, be there. Yeah, exactly. There's the goal, get the Ballon d'Or and all those things, all this kind of glory, and because I'm still good, but I was very good for a time, and I thought that was my calling. That was actually comes like to your identity. If you take the football before, out, I would be just nothing. Who am I? And then little by little, I started to shift back to, okay, for a time I was like kind of lost. Now where am I? Because if you're not football, so what? And when you start to go deep, to know God, to spend time, to listen, to not always like ask, give me, please, I want to do that, but just like, hey, Lord, here's your servant. What do you want from me? Like, somewhere, I think, or just like, because I don't know where to go. I don't know you need to teach me. You need to relearn, renew my mind. What is the things that you think is good? It's not the things that I learned that was good in my own eyes, but in your eyes, and it was shifting. I do know that I have this talent, but like the way I will express this is It's on me, but it's also on him, because like it's like I will not go there if you're not there. I don't know where it's like. I don't want to be in where you're not. So to figure it out, sometimes you point, okay, it's only one place. It's I believe it's like as you mentioned before, and it was every day pick up your cross, not only like to like say day by day, like whole glory to glory, to become I don't know if I'm just talking over, but I think my main point is like it's one of the things that is written in the Bible that stick to me, to today. It's like the God really wish that we become like a likeness of His Son, like in obedience, in the thing that I also mentioned, that before He do all the works, so like the work is necessary, because I also think there's no faith without action. The faith is death. I think it's John that talks about that. Or James, I'm not sure. But yeah. So I know that I have fruits, I have qualities that I also need to grow, but it is coming back to God, to His feet, and be ready to listen, and yeah.
Nice. I find that there's I love this that the Bible, for example, it gives you like two examples that to me it's how God forms a man, or like because for example you have Moses and God, and then Moses told God, hey God, like I need you to tell me where to go, and God provided that for him, like a guidance that where the cloud and the fire that was leading the path of Moses, right? So Moses would go where God will show him to go, right? But if you see then the next generation of that, it changes, and as Joshua, God told him, no, wherever you go, I will be with you. So it was different. And to me, that's a lot of what we face as men. And that's a lot of what we need to navigate as men, is when to know when I need to wait for God to show me where to go, or when I should just go and he will be with me. And I think that sometimes we need to just try and choose one of those things, and be very open to God's guidance, and maybe when he says, hey, you actually chose wrongly right now, because I actually was asking you to wait until I guide you. But sometimes we get stuck, and he's just waiting for us to go somewhere, and he'll just go with us, like Joshua, right? So to me, it's super interesting that we as men, like we really need Holy Spirit, because we really need to be in tune with what God is speaking for now, not for not about tomorrow, not about yesterday, or for tomorrow. It's like, now, what are you telling me now? Like, are you guiding me? Are you waiting for me? Am I waiting for you? What am I doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that nowadays it's super important that we really make a space for Holy Spirit to really talk to us and guide us in our man making journey, if you may say that way. Yeah.
How do you know it's God?
Yeah, that's a 1 million question, dollar question, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think it's personal. I mean, of course, you have the Bible to you can always go to the Bible and kind of like bounce off if your thoughts are just super off. Like, you can always come back and kind of like contrast. But to me, it's a bit personal, the way that God talks to each of us. That is maybe not in the Bible, but for example, to me, sometimes I can recognize that God is speaking to me because I all of a sudden get a thought that I could not think of myself, or like comes completely completely in a different angle that I am that my train of thought is thinking, and I just get hit by this thought on my own, or my wife, for example. Sometimes I'm thinking about something and I'm debating with God, and then all of a sudden she just comes with a comment that I know is God trying to get my attention and give me some guidance and warn me or remind me, or and through our fellow brothers and sisters, when we have interactions like today, or or in a church, or when you hear from the pastor, or or even in worship, you get insights. So I don't know, in many ways I would say, right? But I think we can all track kind of like little ways that God speaks to us, very personal, right? I've heard many stories from people that they are just, for example, in the nature, and they just feel God like through the nature, through different things, or I don't know. It's just very different, I think, very personal, and that's like beautiful, like about him, that he connects with how and the way we really need, the way that we can recognize that is him. And once you start building history with him, then it is even easier to recognize that is him, because then you've built history, and then you can go back to those milestones where you know that he talked to you, you know that he showed up, and it could have not been anyone but him. And you get that as a kind of like as a thing to be reminded, like the same way that the Jacob and Abraham, all those people, when every time they encountered God, they would put rocks, and sometimes for us, those like going in our minds back to the times that we were spoken by God, and we were, healed by him, or saved by him, or we had an encounter with him. Those are like those like milestones and rocks that we can remember, that we can come back and they build story, history in our lives with him, right? So to me, at least, that helps me a lot when I come back to that and I remember what he's done in my life, and I get to recognize him even easier. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to skip you. There were because I asked both of them, and I want to assume maybe you were thinking already. What is it that God is calling you for, or do you feel like God is calling you for something specific?
I totally forgot to think about this. I know that I had something to say because I remember thinking about it, but then we continued in the conversation,
sorry, I think I derailed the conversation completely.
That's good. How was it? Oh, me personally, I think I can't remember what I thought then, so I'll just create something new. I do think. Oh, okay, now I'm back, but I will say what I started to talk and then continue there. So, me personally, I do think that there are things that God called me specifically for, and I think life is a journey of discovering those things. I don't think that it's only one thing. I think there is many, and that many depends on how faithful are you with your 1 talent or 5 talents or 10 talents. Then you are given even more, right? So I believe there could be 100,000 of things to do if you are fast enough or faithful enough. So I think there could be really a lot, and that would be your calling. And still in the Bible, when Jesus was leaving to the heavens, he said, like, make disciples of all nations. I think that's a very clear calling to everybody who is looking for a calling. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking in that area. But actually, you mentioned you are a dreamer, so I was wanting to ask you if there are no limitations to your dream. What is the biggest dream that you would want to be part of? Like what's your biggest dream if there are no limitations?
Yeah, I think my biggest dream is to create a universe of like literature and songs and it's kind of like I would like to tell my story, and I would like to tell the story of me and my wife, and I would like to build something artistic with it, and create like a bit of universe with a lot of different sources of art with it, and go as big as you can dream about, kind of like a Marvel universe with.
So when you are imagining it, it's a movies part of like, or is it
books, songs, websites, games, and it's kind of like to reinforce like a redemptive path for people, and also to kind of like reestablish the real meaning of love, basically. So to kind of like combat the easy way of loving, or the easy meaning of, or the meaning of love that is just too easy to quit, that we have now. Like we see a lot of people, it's just like, okay, I get married, and then it didn't work, just didn't work, get divorced, and then I get married again, and then I get divorced, and we destroy families all the way, and that's just one thing, but the whole thing about how men use women or think about women, or and how we can help people to not to stay away from that, or to stay out of that, or people that have gone through the same things that I have gone, and my wife has gone, then the same. So it's a bit of a mix. So that's a huge dream that I have.
So when you're thinking about it, do you see it as a storyline? Is there like a storyline that you would like to like talk through? So like, let's say that there is a book, right? So could you just maybe dig deeper a bit, like, so I can understand like how would this story actually go? So
I think, I mean, I would love to create like novels, so like a bit of like maybe it's called, I think the genre is called magic realism, I think. So it takes a bit of fiction, and it mixes with some
real stuff,
facts, like some facts. So for example, if I'm not wrong, I'm not an expert on this, but if I'm not wrong, it takes, for example, the second World War, and then it is an event that actually happened, and then it creates a fictionary characters with some around things that are actually facts. So it's a bit of mix, and I would like to do the same, but some of the facts that happen in my life, and then surround it with some more fictionary things that can just help the imagination, to land the principles that I would like to share. And so it's but definitely it's about the storyline of my life, and the ups and downs, and all the way. I had to wait a lot for meeting my wife, so of course there's a lot of things that happen in between. And so it's like a love story with a lot of
this is actually my favorite genre of like book. Like when you kind of, because it's almost like you need to discover a little like way throughout the story, you need to discover what some of the things may mean, or like I really like that.
So that's the super big dream that I have. I really hope that I can make it happen sometime at some point.
Because you like writing, or
it's really hard for me to find time for it, but I love writing. I definitely really enjoy it.
That's pretty cool. Do you have like a timeline in your mind that like, when do you see it kind of beginning to form, or
I don't know. I think I'm a little late on the timeline. I this is something that I've been dreaming for a long time, right? So I thought that by now I would have something already, but I also learned to kind of like I remember like around 10 years ago, I was really eager to start writing, and I started writing, and all of a sudden I felt I need to live more before I can continue. I don't know, just and I don't know if it was an excuse for not putting more effort, but I just felt like no, I just need more. I just need more context in my life. I just need something more. I don't know. So and yeah, but actually lately I've been ignited more and more every time I see people that have conquered this. Okay, they write in a book. I don't know, something in my heart just explodes, and it's like I just feel this like really, really. Yeah, I don't know. It's even painful. Like I can just feel like something is crying out inside me for doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I need to start prioritizing somehow. Yeah.
Are you then waiting for some kind of a sign of open doors, from God that, oh, this is the timing? Or what's the plan here?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'm not so sure yet. Like, what am I waiting for? I don't know if it's just about start doing it like alongside of what I'm also doing, like my job and all that. Or I don't know if I need to just, take a step of faith. I don't know yet. That's where I'm not sure, because right now I'm in a bit of a season of, I just got married 1 year ago, and now we're praying and hoping that we can start expanding our family soon. So
yeah.
So it's a bit unclear yet if it's something that I need to make a really big step and quit my job and just try that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I'm also in a working visa here, so like I'm kind of like I need to have my job, and I haven't felt like I am supposed to give it up, So it is not very clear for me right now. That's something that I need to pursue more, and get more insights from God on that. Yeah.
Do you have an idea of like the characters that you would use?
Yeah. I started like writing from the perspective of my wife.
Really?
But this is before I met her.
Yeah.
So I have some characters, and then so I kind of like envision having different books from different perspectives, and then some books like when we're together, and and then building from there. But yeah, but I don't have really a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any type like story that you like kind of have like an inspiration for or maybe like a writing style or
yeah, well, you may not know these people, but I remember when I was a teenager, like I was exposed to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and this is a famous Colombian writer.
Okay.
And he's just probably the best in South America of all times, maybe. But I just was really, really impressed by his, like, the way the emotions that you can get to experience while just reading a book and reading a story, from different angles, from different timelines. And so I have something of that. And then other books, just more like Christian books, maybe. Like, for example, I don't know if you have read, is it Redemptive Love? No.
Who wrote it?
Let me see.
Redemptive Love. No, I don't think. I don't even think I've heard about it.
Is it a little bit of like a magical I don't know, realism?
This is the story of well, just give me a second and I'll
yeah. But you like more like a realistic like type of like books, right?
I like books that can teach me some practical, actually tell me like what to do. Basically, I don't read anything. I don't read any stories. It must be a story of somebody that actually experienced something, and that story must tell me what I should do again. Right. So it's not.
They're very practical.
Yeah. So, but then I still like to watch movies that are like science fiction and like super out there, right?
Yeah.
But if I should read, it's only books that gives me something.
It's kind of funny because like growing up, I think that was like one of the things I enjoyed the most was to read fiction. But I remember trying to like listen to there was a book that I was interested in. It was like fiction stuff, but instead of reading, I was listening to it, and I couldn't do it. I just could not like get in the mood to listen to those fictional stories.
Is it because the narrator is just one voice, and you could not really imagine the story?
No, I think it's because like in every single context of that I put myself in, it's like listening to a book had always been with the Bible. It was the only book that I was constantly listening to it. So then listening to a fictional story, like with characters and stuff like that, like it just felt weird to me because that's what I was doing with the Bible, right? Yeah. So I think that like listening to a story had always been in the context of listening to the Bible. So when I had to listen to a fictional story, I just found myself like instinctively opening up my soul to whatever I was like listening to. And it's kind of weird to like opening your soul to like talking about orcs and stuff like that. I just like, okay, I cannot do this.
Yeah. So the author was Francine Rivers. It's called.
Okay.
And the book is Redeeming Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the story of Oshia, the prophet, that marries a prostitute.
Oh, right, yeah. I think I've heard about this book.
Yeah, they even have a movie about it. Yeah,
right. Maybe that's why I heard.
Have you guys seen the Chosen?
Yeah,
first season. Maybe.
Yeah, first season.
Yeah.
I watched first.
So the Chosen is not exactly only what is in the Bible, right? But they also, I guess, use historical context to kind of like imagine how it could have been, right? And they add and put a little bit more of like context to make it more understandable and emotional in a way, right?
Yeah.
So this author, she does the same with the story of Osha, and she surrounds the story with a lot of details that get like, I don't know, it gets you, like the story and makes you comprehend it even better, the depth of what the Bible was saying in a way, because it explains the context and the historical context as well in poetry and so it's really nice. Yes.
Cool.
Do you read a lot?
And now I read mostly for things of my work.
Okay.
To be honest, so I read a lot, yes, but mostly like you, on the sense of like when I need to research about techniques or strategy or something, like then I read books that will help me in my job, and then I try to have a novel that I can go back to just keep learning about how other people communicate their their messages, their storylines. But I would like to do it more, to be honest. I don't do it as often as I would like to.
Like one of the writing styles there was like, I thought it was amazing, and to when you see like someone doing something so special, and it just kind of like it just makes you remember it, like it was I forgot his name, but it's the guy who writes the was it like war, like what was it, the something with thrones, I forgot.
Is it Narnia?
No. It's Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, yeah. Because I didn't want to watch it. I watched a little bit, but it wasn't really appealing to me. It was more like his writing style is so good. Because he does like he goes like I don't know how like maybe I don't remember if it was every single chapter, or but it was like changing perspectives on who was the. So if this chapter was about this warrior kind of type of guy, the next chapter is about this woman from somewhere else, and then this, so it was like the story, instead of like building the story like in a narrative, like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. It was like this was happening, and then this was happening. So everything kind of happening at the same time, and it was like you could like just by the writing, would just what was written would make you feel different. It's hard. It's like if this guy's had this personality, then the writing would fit with this guy, and then if this woman had this personality, then the writing would reflect her personality. So it was very immersive in which person it was. You could really feel like the whole environment and everything, the way that the person thought or expressed every single thing. And I think was like one of the best the best books to read, because it would immerse you and make you so curious about everything that was happening at the same time. So it was a really interesting experience to read that book. Yeah, I don't know if you ever came across him, but since this is a little bit of what you want to do, like show the different perspectives of like your wife and yourself, maybe there could be an interesting approach, to like have different writing styles, from like your perspective. Like you say, you're more emotional and an analytic at the same time. It would be interesting to see like how would you express that, not like in a narrative, but also in how to express an analytical character that is also emotional. Like it's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah, it's gonna be super interesting to do. Yeah. What are your favorite movies?
Favorite movies?
Yeah.
I recently talked about it with my colleagues at work. I think the most favorite movie I have ever seen was Inception.
Yes, that's nice. That's a really nice one.
The ending is such a good.
I didn't like it.
What do you think? What was it in a?
I think it
was it in reality or not at the end?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the. Oh, now I forgot what it was about.
I remember the last when he spins and you don't know what's if it.
Yeah, it's real.
And there's theories about it that it was actually gonna fall or not, and depending on that, he was actually in a dream or not, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie too. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like it. I got so annoyed with the
final. Or what?
No, not with the fighting, but the whole idea of like you going deeper into the dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
Man, I got so annoyed.
But have you had a dream where you know there is a dream and you cannot wake up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But I didn't go deeper inside the.
Yeah,
the dream. Like we started to like go immerse. But it's the name of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's really well done. Like the story is so good, but it was just the whole concept of like. Oh, man, universe inside a universe inside a universe, and then there's man, I was so annoyed.
It's not like Matrix, kind of the same idea.
Which is my favorite movie, actually. The Matrix.
Yeah.
The trilogy.
Okay.
The fourth, not so much, but the trilogy, yeah.
There's a new one now, right?
Yeah, I think
the fourth. That's
Oh, that's the one you didn't like.
Yeah. But the trilogy for me was like, I don't know. I think I was able to understand God in a better way
after watching
the Matrix.
Wow.
Oh, because like it's like the rest of the it's like finding God, or like it's like taking the red pill. Or?
More about like how Neo was able to be inside the Matrix and he when he realizes that he's he has access to supernatural powers, then he's able to do it. So it to me was a lot about us as humans, when we realize that we are a spirit as well, and we are here in the flesh, and then we also have a spirit and the soul. But when we realize that we actually have access to a supernatural realm, like in the kingdom with God, and then we can start actually seeing more things and do more things and being instruments to supernatural things to happen through us as well. So to me, it was like, I don't know, just something clicked in my heart when I saw the movie. And I was like, oh yeah, what if I actually just need to realize that Jesus already has done everything, and I just need to step into that mindset to have the faith and say, pray for somebody that is has a wound or that has a sickness, and if I just have the mindset that Jesus already healed that, I just need to step into that, right? Stepping into His grace, His word. It's not me, it's just Him. It's already there, it's already done, and just step into that, right? So I don't know, it's just something clicked in my mind, in my heart when I saw the movie. But so to me, that's also something really powerful about movies and about books and movies, that doing like it can ignite it can really kind of like using the same principle as Inception, kind of like really see principles in your heart through arts, basically, right? So for example, I remember like also Narnia, like the famous movies, like the beautiful moments when you can actually really relate what it was happening in the movie with the act of Jesus, and you could see some of the characters reflecting some things that are kingdom things, basic kingdom principles and kingdom characters. So I don't know, I just like that. What about you? What's your favorite movie?
I don't think I have a favorite movie.
No.
Sorry. But maybe Rafa has. Rafa watched a lot of movies.
No, I have watched all those movies. But I didn't finish. What was the one?
Inception.
Inception. I didn't finish, but I started. And
You started sleep, like fell asleep.
Yeah, it was
like
like today. That's it. Yeah, I think I like it a lot. I don't know how to say. The Patient. What's the one with Mel Gibson? He director like Christ.
The Passion of Christ.
Passion of Christ. Okay. Was
that's a heavy one.
Yes, I know.
I watched it. I was like 10 years old or something. I watched it then. I was like,
okay. Did you go to a room and repent of your sin?
Try. See a little bit, of what might had happened or a lot, it's different perspective of it. I almost cry. I don't know. The times I like repeating, I think I watched 3 times. So, I just heard that they were planning to make a new one, like with like the same, I think, Mel Gibson. Or, I don't know who is the director. Looking forward for that, if it's gonna happen or not. But I think this is one of my favorites. I think I have other ones, but like now fresh in the head is nice. That one. Yeah.
Right. What about from a cinematographical or like? Not the story of the movie, but actually how it looks. As a people that work with video guys.
I didn't watch the Avatar. I think it's 2.
I haven't seen number 2 either.
A lot of people say that. So it's crazy. The cinematographic thing is just surreal, like unreal, and but. I saw a lot of the first one was pretty very, very nice, like all the 3D, not 3D thing, but all this you really feel that you're not you're in a different world, all things like it's crazy. They also have this idea of connection with the earth, and with the animals and everything. I think there is a little bit of pantheism, like behind, like, but also this part of like, that God created us and we are in a way connected with His creation. So it's it's interesting. I went a little bit to the story, not to the cinematic.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have anyone?
No.
Oh, it's Fast and Furious. You know what it is?
Not that I can think of.
No.
But yeah, it's very new for me to actually analyze movies from the perspective of actually what am I seeing? Yeah, what am I seeing? How it's done? But what I love even more than watching the movie is watching the behind the scenes of the movie.
Really?
To see what what tools they use, how they do it. Yeah, that's fun. And I skip forward when actors are talking because that's just boring. I just want to see
That's what's happened. Yeah, I catch myself sometimes when I realize that it's a camera. When you're not that. I don't know. Sometimes you're so focused on the movie that you feel yourself like you were there. Everything. It's like it's you looking. Yeah. But sometimes I don't know. Now working in church with like serving with the live stream and work with cameras a lot, you start to like kind of need to kind of create those moves or have something in your mind, and then when you see the movie like something, how transition now. We take on this angle and then another angle, but in the same room, and then getting close, getting back, and then all this, and then sometimes I just find myself now I'm too analytic, like too kind of judging a little bit. So he did that, and then I kind of the connection with the movie started like to fade away. So I not focus on the movie, but focus on the camera shots and then slow motion and stuff like that. So it's yeah.
Sometimes Selena is annoyed by me because I would like. Not often, but I would like explain to her like, there are lights here, like, like this is how that is done. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Is there more?
I'm tired.
You are? Yeah, I made a mistake today. I didn't bring any coffee, and then that's a learning nugget for tomorrow or next day when we do it.
Do you want to wrap it up?
I don't know.
Isn't that like a speech at the end?
Nah, I don't know. I don't feel like speeches.
All right.
It's like, thank you for today. Thank you for coming over and hanging.
It's been nice.
Hanging with us. It was our pleasure. And hopefully we can do it another time again.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Grow your brand with digital ad campaigns and social media content. We are a creative team that specializes on video communication, brand strategy, and productions. Sign up for a free business checkup meeting and speak to us for valuable advice and for the opportunity to partner with us.